Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 26, Sovereign AF Podcast. I'm Regina, your host, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Cynthia.
Hey
And
everyone.
today we are going to talk about mindset strategies and overcoming the impossible. And we have a special guest, Tristan, and we are going to learn all about his very inspiring story, and all the incredible things that he's been able to overcome. And Tristan, I'm going to let you kind of introduce yourself a little bit more and then we can just dive into your story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for having me. So I'll give y'all the quickest summary that I can think of. Um, Played soccer for most of my life, ran track in middle school, played soccer when I was little, ran track in middle school, played soccer in high school, right? Soccer was my entire identity. It's who I was. I lived, breathed, like soccer was everything, right? Was facing a lot of challenges in life, and I hated myself for most of my life. So I used soccer and alcohol and video games and certain adult websites, if you catch my drift, to to kind of distract myself from my problems, And I never consciously knew that I hated myself until after the surgeries. So I've had multiple brain surgeries. I've had three near-death experiences,
Wow.
and I turned 25 a couple weeks ago. Um, as you can imagine, it was very traumatizing, very stressful, and I dealt with a lot of problems. And long story short, I decided to take full control over my health and mind because I want to be remembered and I want to live as long as possible because I want to play with my great grandkids, and I want them to remember me. So, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened as far as
So, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in 11th grade, we found a brain cyst. And the way
oh
we found it was I was eating spaghetti. I remember this vividly. I was eating spaghetti with my family, and I took a bite. We were watching Big Brother on the TV. I was watching it, took another bite, looked at the TV, could only see the right half of the TV.
wow.
Mm.
I finished my food and went to my room to play video games. Could only see half the TV. So I went to my mom, who's a nurse. She got her little nurse pin flashlight thingy out, shined in my eyes, said, "Dude, your pupils are unevenly dilated. So rush me to the hospital."
Oh no.
Had a scan done, was sent home. Everything's good. Scheduled an appointment with my PCP. First thing she said was, "Okay, so when are we going to schedule the MRI for your brain cyst?"
Wow.
Mm.
What do you mean brain cyst? And so got the MRI scheduled. Surgeon said that, you know, it shouldn't grow. I could keep playing soccer, just be weary of hitting the ball. So I kept playing and became the first college athlete in my family, second or third soccer athlete playing college for my high school. And as you can imagine, soccer being my entire life, I wanted to become a starter on the team so I could play semi-pro and then go on from there, right? Busting my ass every day on the field. At the end of my sophomore year, I get hit really hard in the back of the head during practice and get a major concussion. I go back to my dorm to try to study. Feels like knives are piercing my brain, so I'm rushed to the hospital. Neurosurgeon said that if I didn't get a surgery to fix it within 6 months, that I would be in a coma. Looking back on it, it feels like we were fear mongered, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, had my first ever surgery done, which was brain surgery in May of 2019. Was released the next day. Was back in the hospital less than a week later with meningitis. Spent a week in the hospital for that. Then I went. Then I got home, went back to the college town to get back in shape for soccer. I was sprinting, working out every day. Went cliff jumping with my best friends, and I belly flopped into the lake. Hurt my head a little bit. Didn't think much of it. A couple of nights later, woke up in the middle of the night. Felt like fire was running from the beginning of the tube, the shunt in my head, to the end of the shunt in my abdomen.
Mm.
Um, Roommate rushed me to the hospital. Don't remember much of anything during that time. I ended up having numerous brain surgeries, abdominal surgeries, whatever. to fix the mistakes of the first surgery and the slight adjustments, damages that were done from that belly flop. And the neurosurgeon and abdominal surgeon made so many mistakes during that time that it caused a brainstem stroke.
Wow.
The neurosurgeon put the shunt, so the shunt was in the back of my head right here. He put the shunt here, frontal lobe. That's what caused the brainstem stroke, I believe. And changed my personality. Took my ability to use my entire left side and all of that. So I'm unconscious. My consciousness is in this dark abyss that I like to call it, the most peace I've ever felt.
Mm.
My body was in this realm doing all the work. So my consciousness, I remember going to sleep in my bed in my apartment, waking up in my grandparents' place. Can't use my left side, can't do anything. I don't know anything that happened. And as you can imagine, going from being a soccer athlete, college soccer athlete, to not being able to use half your body causes so much mental, I would say mental health problems. Yeah. And I wanted to die. I did not want to be alive anymore. Didn't want to live with what had happened. Um, like I said, soccer was my entire identity. Could not play soccer anymore. So I figured I had a bunch of voices in my head that told me every day, um, everything I worked for my entire life was gone. There's no reason to live anymore. And so I got on antidepressants. Antidepressants helped for a little bit until they didn't. They took all capacity of me, like all emotional capacity from me. Um,
Mm.
I wanted to take my life more because I couldn't feel emotions than when I couldn't play soccer, you know?
Mm.
And so I weaned off the antidepressants with the help of my PCP and started looking for natural solutions because there's always, in my opinion, there's always a holistic or natural approach to illnesses, right?
Agreed.
Preventative wellness versus reactive wellness is how I look at it, you know? And
Mhm.
so at this time, my way of managing it was video games, girls, certain adult websites, all that stuff, right? Partying, drinking. Um, and then I had two more surgeries at the end of 2022 or in August of 2022. And that really woke me up. I was like, okay, I don't want to leave this realm and be forgotten, you know? So I started working on or looking for ways I could optimize my health because I said, if anything's going to happen, it's going to be with this and nothing else in my body, right? So I came across this TikTok video. I don't know if y'all know who he is, Mason Core. Do you know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I don't
He
think so.
owns he's the owner or founder of the Stampede Network, which is one of the best supplement companies that I've ever tried. I apologize, my voice gets cracked whenever I tell this story. Anyways,
Mm.
he's the founder of the Stampede Network, one of the best supplement companies I've had. And he had a video that claims seed oils are the reason why we sunburn. And me being a ginger who's always burnt 5 seconds being in the sun, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. And so I fully optimized my diet. I overhauled it. Like I put meat or steak, eggs, bacon, and fruits and yogurt. That's all I ate for like 3 months, and I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. And so when I found that out, and when I had that result, I was like, what else is possible? You know, what else is true that we were lied about? And there starts my self-improvement journey. Um, I eventually come across this man named Captain Taylor Morgan, and he has this group called the Crew and this program called the Captain's Lifestyle Program, or the Captain's Lifestyle Program. And to say that that is life changing is honestly doing it a disservice because I recreated myself, and that is how Captain Orangutan was born. I got the name because I am a very joking and witty person. I believe that if I can't joke and if I can't be witty, you know, and just laid back and have fun, then there's not really any point to being there. And so Captain Orangutan was born. And yeah, so I am putting the finishing touches on my mindset transformation program called the Orangutan Way. And I am implementing every mindset transformation that worked for me and has worked for my first clients. Jack, this man, love this man to death. He has had such profound transformations, and it's awesome. So that was a very broad generalization, like very broad summary of my story. So
Wow.
apologies.
Wow. I want to know about these transformations. So the captain, what was the name of the program you did?
Captain's lifestyle program.
Captain Lifestyle.
Yeah. So Captain Taylor Morgan on Instagram, he's the one that has it. And the community, the crew was open to men and women a couple months ago. And it's a great community, to say the least. Like, yeah. It's awesome.
Can you share a little bit about what about that program or other strategies that you use that you're going to use in your program? Can we dive into some of these strategies a bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the biggest thing, the first one that I realized before I even joined the program was everything happens for a reason, right? The one of the first nights that I became conscious, I was so angry and hated everything that I was like, just hated existence, right? Um, I was on the brink of taking my life for the first time because of the voices and the depression, right? And I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to deal with those voices. So I gave everything up to God. Like I cussed him, I blamed him, I asked him why, right? I just said, just give me a sign, give me a reason why I'm still here. And a couple days later, something clicked in my mind and told me that I have a story that can and will help people going through similar things, you know? And so ever since then, I've had that mindset. Everything happens for a reason. And that's what I was telling you when the camera was messing up, you know? Everything happens for a reason. You know, you figured it out. You're smart as hell.
You probably think I'm like a spaz. Just so you guys know, I was having camera issues and it was a really simple solution,
Simple is not always
which was
easy.
my fault. And I was kind of getting a little frustrated, and poor Tristan hadn't had an introduction to me prior to that. He probably thinks I'm spaz.
Oh yeah,
But
poor yeah, no, it's yeah, everything happens for a reason, dude. Like you proved that you are a smart ass woman. You're a smart ass woman.
I saw. I love it.
I love acronyms, so it's like my big ass bowl of yogurt, my bad boy. It's delicious.
Big ass bowl of yogurt.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so the first one was yeah, everything happens for a reason. The second one, the more you fight reality, the more it fights back, right? I had such such a hard time accepting what had happened and accepting that I'm different. I lived with imposter syndrome for over 2 years because I thought I was the same person, right? I thought I was the same man I was before the surgeries, just with a different physical capabilities. 2022 is when I decided to lean into change after the surgeries. And after a stroke and life-changing surgeries, something happens. I don't know. I'm not a neurologist or scientist or anything. I'm talking from personal experience. Something happened in my brain that once I leaned into change, literally all of the depression, all the anxiety, all the imposter syndrome left my body. Once I started finding out who I am now instead of holding on to who I was and reminiscing and being jealous and mad that I'm not that man anymore. Once I started finding out who I am, the feeling of depression, the feeling of anxiety left. The feeling of hope, the feeling of curiosity, the feeling of inspiration, that all just waved in. And I had never taken a cold shower before the end of 2022. I've taken a cold shower nearly every day since. I've not taken a warm shower. That's part of the change, and we'll get into more of that. We'll get deeper into that in a few minutes.
Can I
So,
ask one quick question
well,
about
of
what you
course.
just said?
Yeah, what's up?
Before we get more into strategies, I'm curious, Tristan, how else are you different from
What do you
before?
mean?
I mean,
I was gonna ask that too. What's the
other than,
fundamental
I mean, we
differences?
know your mindset is different, but you keep saying that you're different from before.
Yeah, so I make the distinction, and I was told on the Recovery After Stroke podcast, whenever I did an interview with him, he told me that a lot of people who've had a stroke often make a distinction between who they are after the stroke and who they were before the stroke, right? So my distinction is me pre-stroke was Red. Me post-stroke is Tristan or Captain Orangutan, right? Um, I like to say that I feel like I'm a different soul inside this body because my soul was in the peaceful dark abyss the entire time that I was in the hospital. And when I started becoming conscious, I had no memory of who I was, had no memory of who my family was, who my friends were,
Wow.
anything, right? That stuff came over a couple of days. Um, so yeah, that's why I say that I'm a different man because my consciousness came into this body before the memories came back.
Mm.
And after I started leaning into change, yeah, I like some of the things that Red liked, right? And I'm finding out that I like a lot more things that Red never thought of, you know, getting like regulated sleep schedule, no drinking, eating healthy, um, helping others without the intention to receive anything. It's just, yeah, I Red hated himself and I hated myself for 2.5 years. I have found a place where I actually genuinely love myself. And we'll go ahead and get into this. I've started saying, like, I used to read affirmations out of my journal and they were all right. I have created, or not created, I have found the affirmations that hit the hardest for me. And that's another part of the mindset hacks. Mindset hacks, as I call them. Um, how much cussing is allowed on this in these
You can
interviews?
curse as
Much as
much
you
as you
want.
want. The only thing we're
Okay, cool.
careful about, because it is Facebook and
Uh-huh.
we do put it on YouTube. So there's a lot of censorship. So we won't say anything that starts with a V that goes in your arm.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, that's not. I don't really consider that
And
a
then the
cuss word
whole
though.
stuff that happened, that was planned in 2020.
Yeah,
We don't,
no,
the
yeah,
COV word.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we're just a couple of those where you can curse as much as you want.
Cool. Yeah, so after every single cold shower, if it's insanely cold and I just do not want to be in there, after I endure it and after I turn the shower off, I scream loud as hell. I'm like, God bless, I fucking love myself, right? Because I say that because I love myself so much that I'm willing to endure a challenge that I choose so that I enjoy life more, right? Because cold showers, man, I don't want
Not
to take
fun.
cold showers. Yeah,
Not fun.
I don't want to take cold showers. I do it for the benefit that I feel after each day, right?
I think they're harder than cold plunging. It's harder. I
Yeah,
cold
I
plunge all the
hate
time, and
cold
Ye
showers.
it's
yeah, I'll have
hard to
to
get in a
agree
cold
because
shower.
I have to agree because cold plunging, the water doesn't really move once you stay still. Cold showers,
Mhm.
the water's just still steady flowing, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I move around because you want to break the sheath that's around you,
oh
but
yeah,
yeah,
fair enough.
it does do that.
We do cold plunge a little differently
She
then.
does a lot of cold plunging and sauna, infrared sauna.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. That is a biohacker right there. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I back to the affirmation. So man, I fucking love myself. I am so proud of myself, right? Whenever I forget something and then I remember it, God, I am a fucking genius, right? Or even if I forget something, I'll sarcastically say I'm a damn genius, you know? Um,
That's what I
I
should have said when I figured it out. Instead
that's
of I'm a fucking retard.
so
Scratch
are you
that.
are you up for a little language shift real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so what some people say is you just showed it all over yourself,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So the way I see it is saying you should have done something means that you could still go back and change it. Whenever you say I could have done that, means okay, I'll adjust that for the future. That's how I see it, at least, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're not a fucking retard. You're a genius because you figured it out, right?
Right.
Hell yeah.
Regina.
Little
Cancel, clear, delete.
Cancel, cancel, clear, delete. Yep.
yeah. But yeah, I have found so much joy in life, and I haven't even really changed much outside of myself. You know, I've changed my daily habits, changed what I eat and how I think, and my life is a hell of a lot better. And it's getting better every day with the more progress that I make on this program and the more I'm able to help Jack and other people, you know, because my purpose on this earth right now, and it will most likely will be until I leave this earth, is to help others who are struggling with similar things, whether that's stroke or mindset after surgery or general depression, general anxiety, general imposter syndrome. I know what worked for me. And obviously, what worked for me is working for Jack. And if it works for Jack and I, then it can work for more people, you know? And yeah, I am helping people and I will help more people because it's awesome to be able to make a difference in this world after living with so much pain, torment, and self hatred, you know?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I love that. And you said you didn't change that much. You changed so much. You changed your diet, your mindset, your lifestyle. I mean,
Yeah, it
what are
was
you talking about? You did like a you did
well,
like a 360.
I'm talking about nothing much has changed outside of myself.
Right.
Everything has changed within myself. And I was
Yeah.
flabbergasted that I lost 30 pounds in 3 months with that diet change. My family said, dude, you need to eat more. And I said, I'm not cutting calories or anything. I'm not going hungry. I just lost fat, you know? And
Wow.
I was insecure for a while after that weight loss because I I've developed some breast tissue on my left pectoral from the toxic lifestyle that I lived for 2 years. You know, I was vaping,
Mm.
drinking every day, using those, depleting myself to those adult websites and all that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and casual encounters with women. And so I was like tanking my hormone levels. And yeah, so I'm living with it and I am working to improve it. You know, that's all we can do. And I will improve it
Wow.
eventually. Yes, ma'am. Hashtag
That's
no
a
insecurities
crazy.
here. And I'm like
That
four
is a
foot.
crazy change there. Have you found other people? Because you're young, 25. I mean, at 25 for me, I had just stopped drinking and all my friends were still partying. So
Yeah,
it was
so
really hard for me. Are you finding other young people your age that are into the healthy lifestyle?
well, I think I left this part out. I was 20 years old when I had all the surgeries and the stroke and all that.
Mm,
And I felt alone in this world because I didn't know anyone else around my age who had had all those problem or challenges, you know,
yeah.
and didn't know anywhere I could go for advice. And that is another reason why I am doing what I'm doing, you know, because I'm offering help to people who feel the need for it, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, so what was your what was your question again? Apologies.
And to speak to this, another reason why I feel like you probably went through this is that you can only help people to the extent that you've gone yourself. So
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
think of like no one else is going to understand, only other
Mm-hmm.
people that have been through what you've been through. And for you to have that insight at such a young age and to be a guide and a mentor and a teacher to maybe
Mm,
someone else that's 17, 18, 20, like that's
Mm-hmm.
huge because they don't know where else to look. No doctor is going to give them that information, you know?
Yeah, it's
even
like
people older than you. I mean, age
Yeah, oh
doesn't
yeah,
really
absolutely.
matter. Your experience is what
Absolutely.
matters, you know?
yeah. It's
Absolutely.
like it's like my brother Jack, he came to me, you know, he was a client. He's now one of my best friends. He was telling me, he was like, dude, I'm worried about you. I was like, why? He was like, because I mean, I love what you're doing and I'm listening to you and I'm having all these results. nobody else my age is going to listen to you. I said, okay. And he was like, and doesn't that kind of concern you? I said, no. I said, I'm not going to make anybody do what I suggest, you know? I don't have control over anybody else's life but mine. I said, if they want to do it, then that's perfectly fine. If they don't, perfectly fine, you know? I said, I can't help people unless they want to help themselves, right? And if they want to come to me for help, then that's perfectly fine. If they don't, it's perfectly fine. Like, I fully believe in freedom of choice and, as Alex Zeck says, a voluntary society. And yeah, I'm not going to make anybody do anything. Like, would it hurt my ego? Honestly, at this point, no, because I love myself so much. I know what I can provide, that the right people are going to come to me, or I'm going to find the right people, you know?
Exactly.
That's
And
that's
just
how it is.
being the light in a situation and planting seeds where they're needed. Sometimes that's all that's needed for that moment. And then it's later on is when it starts
Hmm.
to grow, and then they're seeking, you know? So
Absolutely.
just you telling
Yeah.
your story and spreading the light in that way is
Yeah.
more than enough.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
absolutely is.
I mean, I don't know if you've found many people your age with a similar mindset, but you will. I feel like there's more and more people that are waking up, even without having an experience like that, and are
Yeah.
realizing, oh my gosh, we've been lied to, and all the
That
systems in society are
isn't.
corrupt, and our food is poisoned, and you know what I mean? And you'll
Hmm.
find like-minded, health-minded younger people.
Yeah, isn't the term spiritual collective, like the more people that people wake up, the other people around
Yeah.
them wake up from, like, association, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very bad way to explain it, but like that's kind of how I
Mhm.
see it, you know. The more people that wake up, the more the general consciousness kind of wakens up, and it just spreads and spreads, you know.
Hmm.
And I saw somewhere that it was either 2024 or 2025 is the year of, like, everybody waking up, or some kind of all the lies getting exposed, or some kind of stuff like that. And
Happening.
I'm seeing it more and more and more, you know. Like, I'm finding more and more resources on truth and freedom and all that, and I'm just like, I'm all for it, you know. And at this point, it's almost like
Yeah.
information overload. Like, I'm sitting here with all this information. I'm like, the hell, where the hell do I start, you know? But I'm getting
Yeah.
there. So it's
So
awesome.
that's something that we hope to do with this podcast and with the brand Sovereign AF, is providing resources
Hmm.
for all these different areas of sovereignty. And I've been thinking about it more and more. It's like almost like the 7 pillars of sovereignty, right? Because
Hmm.
it's like food, it's like medical, financial, and then you've got the whole movement of like natural law and figuring
Hmm.
out that, the whole birth certificate thing. But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
but there's all these different truths and ways to be more sovereign. And I want to kind of organize it by category and just build a
Hmm.
ton of resources for people. That's really the goal of this whole
Yeah, and
whole
I would
podcast.
like to say that I fully believe that mindset, oh shit, my damn voice. Mindset is the biggest aspect of sovereignty that you can have. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter how free you are in person, or in the world. If you're still trapped in your mind, if you're not free in your mind, then you're forever a slave, right?
True.
Yeah.
Freedom starts in here. And that's one reason why I preach, not preach, I say the things I say, I do the things I do, because I am free up here, and I'm working to become free or like in reality, right? And I'm trying to help other people gain freedom up here so that they can be free in reality. Because if you break the physical chains and you haven't broken the mental chains, then you'll be forever chained. You break the
Hmm.
mental chains and you don't break the physical chains, you're free in a way, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's really true. I mean, this week's topic on mindset is really important. And last week was all about intuition. And I feel
Hmm.
like those are two topics that people might like put to the side, like, oh, I'm going to work on like finances, or oh, I'm going to work on the whole, becoming a state national thing or all that stuff, but like mindset is what you need for all of it. And intuition is what you need to guide you as we're moving forward. And we know the agendas aren't going to stop
Especially
anytime soon.
especially as shit gets crazier. You
Yeah.
have to learn to go
Yeah.
within and to trust yourself and trust your decisions and know that you are always divinely guided.
Yeah,
Always.
absolutely.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
I fully believe that there's a higher power, whether it's the God of the Christian Bible or if it's Allah or it. I don't honestly care. I know that there's a higher power, and I know that it kept me alive for a reason.
Yep.
And I mean, this might be a little controversial, and I'm going to say it anyway. I believe that religion was kind of pushes a way to divide people, and I
Yes.
believe that spirituality is the true way because
Mm.
everybody can have their own relationship with God, the higher
Yes.
power, whatever you want to call it, and it doesn't have to be a certain way. Like it's different for everybody. That's how I view it.
You have to go
Absolutely.
into a little building with a cross on it.
100% what you're saying is how we think too.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, your experience, you said during one or multiple surgeries, you were in that peaceful void. I mean,
You know,
from a
every time I
spiritual,
think of that peaceful void,
yeah,
I get chills that run down the back of my from the
yeah.
back
So,
of
I
my
mean,
head
what
down
do
my
you
spine
really,
because
yeah, what do you think that was? I mean,
I after reflecting on it, I
mm,
fully believe that that was God showing me that I can achieve peace in my life because he was giving me a taste of what I can feel during real life, and that's how I felt. Uh, whew,
mm,
I felt that peace and that bliss for the only time so far at the second Captain's Lifestyle Immersion while I was conscious, and I've been chasing that feeling ever since. And the things that bring me closer to that feeling is chasing my purpose, helping other people, working on this program so I can help other people, you know? Um,
yeah,
yeah, that piece, I wish everybody could feel the amount of peace that I felt while I was in the
yeah,
hospital.
I feel like those
It was
moments
beautiful.
yeah. I feel like those moments come at the most the times when you're not looking, you know?
mm,
Yeah.
Like when you have music on and a song comes on and you're in your house and then it just I mean that's how it hits me.
Yeah.
And it's just
yeah,
like
unexpected,
everything's
but
there.
at the same time, a couple things about that. So,
Mhm.
number one, I fully believe this, and I've had a couple, well, many mystical experiences
Mhm.
with and without plant medicines.
Yeah.
More without. Okay.
Mm.
And I
Badass.
had this beautiful out of body meditation experience. And when I do my energy healing or if I'm stressed, I can go back. So I've learned from, just diving into different knowledge that time isn't linear, but we view it linear.
Mhm.
But you can go back to that at any time. And
Yeah.
also, um, I've heard people, spiritual influencers and gurus talk about God, which I like to use the word source,
Mhm.
as the void. And I have
Ooh.
memories. Yes. And so that was God. And I have memories.
Ooh.
I
Yeah, if
have
I can interrupt you real
memories.
quick, I don't
Yeah, go ahead.
for the third time in a row, apologies. That makes so much sense,
Yeah.
and I almost burst out crying right there. That's
Mm.
that one hit heavy. So yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah, that
keep talking. That
that is God, that is source. And I've had experiences where there's like nothing but everything, right? And it is that's God, that's source. That's just the void, the peaceful energy source that's just love and peace and nothing and everything, right? So yeah, I've heard many people say, so it's weird how you said that word, and I was like thinking, are you piecing it together because that was an out of body experience.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I'm happy that you have that. You can tap into that anytime.
So
Absolutely.
Regina, I just want to say, if we were in person, I would give you the biggest hug
Oh,
ever, right? I'm a hugger after the surgeries and all that, and
Good.
that you just shattered my preconceived notions and gave me a
Mm,
much better one than I could have imagined. So thank you so much, because that I want to be contemplating on that for a while,
yeah.
because maybe that was God like showing me him or whoever
It's
God is, yeah, whoever God is, and like holding me close,
fully, fully. Yep.
that's holy crap. Anyway, all right, so let's get back on the mindset stuff, okay? So, oh
we
man,
can talk about spirituality all day.
man,
That's our
All
jam.
day.
But
I am definitely a flow of the conversation type guy, and yeah, yeah, that's an amazing mindset and my amazing perspective, should I say? Um,
yeah, and we can chat anytime,
oh,
Tristan.
I am completely
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
So
And
back
I
on
think
the
that's important for mindset is connecting to that power somehow. I mean,
not only that,
that's everything. Yeah.
not only that, also connecting with others, kind of like in the way we've been doing. I feel like we've mainly been going off of vibes.
Mm,
We've been trying to stick to like a certain script or a certain thing, and we've been going where the energy is in the conversation, right? So like the
yeah.
last thing I mentioned was accepting my reality, and we go off onto basically what is reality,
Mm,
and that's I love conversations like that, just
Mm.
getting I don't want to say getting lost in the conversation, but like going further and further and further into it until we have a mind blowing realization, or somebody helps somebody else get a mind blowing realization. Because
mm.
yeah, you legitimately blessed me with that, and yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be contemplating that for a while. So thank you.
we can definitely go deeper. You know, other times as well. I mean,
Oh
and
yeah.
also, check out this podcast. And we have some conversations coming up where we talk a lot about practical things and resources and tips because I want
Mm-hmm.
people to come in and get resources.
Yeah.
But Cynthia and I will talk about spirituality, metaphysics, the
All
deeper
day long.
questions. I mean,
Y'all are my kind
all
of people.
day. That's what we want to talk about.
Yep.
But I
Same.
want people to have like a practical, like, what do I do? Right. And so that's like the heart of this podcast is
Yeah.
practical tips and resources on a variety of topics. But like, what am I watching at home? I'm watching all that deep spiritual, metaphysical,
Mm-hmm.
even woo woo and weird and UFOs and all that
Yeah.
shit. So
Yeah. That stuff intrigues me so much. I'm just like, what could be true? Like, I believe
yeah.
everything's possible, and at the same time, I don't believe anything. Like I'm just like, okay, this could be possible. Is it possible? Hell if I know. Let's just see
Mhm.
what happens. Like how intrigued
I
could I
think that
get by
comes with
this?
more of like tuning in, like in your body. What does it feel like when you
Yeah.
hear that? What does it feel like when you hear truth? And the more that you identify what that feels like in your body, the more it's going to be easier and easier and easier next time to know. And I think that's
Mhm.
that's the biggest part of the awakening that's happening right now. I think that's the biggest shift in consciousness
Yeah.
is leaning more to less of the logical, less of the, oh, I
Hmm.
need data, I need this, I need the left brain stuff, and more into what we are, which is these beautiful spiritual beings having this human experience, because there's so
Yep.
much more than even our
Mhm.
linear minds and our brains can understand,
Yeah,
it
you
was
just
Yeah.
said my favorite quote. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And
Mhm.
yeah, that when I first heard it, I was like, holy shit, that is correct. Like I'm not my body. My body is simply a vessel. It's like a robot that I'm controlling through these electrical impulses in this brain, and
Mm.
And
I
we've
mean,
been programmed to believe that that's all it is.
I'm going to send you a couple podcasts, and then also I'm going to tell you a couple episodes of this podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep you are into some of that information, but we're pretty deep, and I found a couple podcasts that will still blow our mind. So I'm going to send them your way.
I am completely down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am
So,
absolutely. I listen to. Do you know who Sam Tripoli is?
yeah.
Yes.
I listen to his podcast. I don't know if I can say it with the platforms this is going to be put on. The Hat podcast, a certain kind of hat
Oh, yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I've never actually seen it, but I'm aware of it. Yeah.
Oh, I listen to it all the time. It's on Spotify, and it's crazy. They talk about all kinds of stuff, and I'm just like, holy shit, this could be real. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get back to
Yeah.
what the
Mindset
audience,
strategies.
what the audience can implement into
Yeah.
their lives
Let,
to,
let's get
yeah,
to the strategies,
tangi-
and then so we're getting towards closer to the end. And then
yeah,
Tristan, just so you know, at the end, I'll end the recording. And if you
uh-huh.
like, we'll hang out for just a few minutes in the
That's
Facebook
fine.
group in case anybody else has questions. And guys, feel free to ask questions. Also, my mom said, Tristan is so with it.
I am a vibes guy. I used to not be. And after the surgeries, after like learning who I am, more of who I am, I run like 80% on vibes. I'm a
Yeah.
completely non-judgmental person unless it comes to certain things like kids, And other than that though, I'm I'm just like fucking yeah, let's go with it. But so
Your top strategies.
so my top strategies.
Yeah.
Learn to accept your reality, right?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
it's a very hard thing, and one thing that helps me accept my reality was sitting in a dark room,
Mm.
dark and quiet, right? And sitting with my thoughts. This also helped me get rid of those like 7 or 8 thoughts that were in my head, right? Sit in a dark room, let those thoughts come into your mind. Try to remove all emotional attachment to them and just simply observe them. When I did this, I realized that those thoughts were not mine. They were thoughts of people who had projected their self-hatred onto me. They were thoughts of
Mm.
people who had projected their self-doubt onto me. And once I realized that, I was able to cast them aside and replace them with my own. And at the end of this podcast, before you stop recording, I'm going to sing my little jingle that I sing to myself just about every day. And
Hell
anyways,
yeah.
it's a self-love jingle that I like to call it. And this will be this will be the first place I ever sing it publicly. Anyways,
Yeah.
Sweet.
yeah. So yeah, sit in a dark room, dark and quiet, let those thoughts come in, and detach all emotional reactions to them, right? Just simply observe them for what they are. Find out if they are your thoughts or if they are not your thoughts. And if you can attach the thought to a person or to someone, perfect. If you can't, and you still know it's not your thought, that's still great because you can still cast it aside and replace it with your own, right? So for a while, I'd have that deprecating deprecating talk. Oh, I'm a fucking retard. And then whenever I said that, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking retard. I'm a genius. And then my sarcastic personality took over and it just became autopilot, right? Every time that I forgot something, I'm a genius, and it just come back to me. And I've noticed that with that self-talk, whenever I improve that, my memory has gotten better. And with that, my confidence and my joyfulness and my overall enjoyment of life has gotten better. So when I stopped saying I'm a fucking retard and started saying I'm a genius and I love myself and I'm awesome and I'm resilient and I'm strong and all these things, I've, yeah, that's one reason why I'm such a happy-go-lucky guy with everything I've overcome. So,
Mhm.
anyways, nasal breathing, right? Nasal breathing. When I started doing
Yeah.
this, I did it for the physical benefits. If you don't know, from what I've seen at least, nasal breathing can help readjust the structure of your face because if you breathe with your mouth open, then all the jaw muscles and jaw structure becomes really weak and all that. I did it because I wanted to become more sexy so that more girls would be attracted to me because I was very insecure, right? And I did not know that there were more benefits than just looking better, right? And so after like a year or two of nasal breathing, I realized that I'm more able to control my emotions. So
Wow.
if you start
Interesting.
breathing through your nose, right?
So we got cut off. I don't know what happened. Mercury retrograde.
Look,
Anyways,
I've just
Tristan.
got to say, I've just got to say, it was very rude of me talking about how I became sexy, and then you just cut off the podcast. Okay, no, I'm messing. No, what are we talking about? The nasal breathing. Yeah, so
Yes.
Yeah.
nasal breathing, there's a lot of benefits, and I have it in my program. And yeah, it's very simple, and simple doesn't mean easy. It's very simple to start breathing through your nose. And I was a mouth breather for my entire life until like 2 years ago. And yeah, it's lit as hell. Like, yeah. So nasal breathing, right? It decreases stress and anxiety. It filters your air because you got the nose hairs. When you're breathing through your mouth, it just goes straight down your throat and it's ugh. Um, puts your body into rest and digest state. It lowers your risk of allergies and coughing. It has all these things. And I also noticed that I've stopped snoring when I breathe through my nose. It's awesome. Yeah, it's badass. Um, so on the first immersion that I went to in May of last year, Chase Tollison said this one quote, and I don't think he came up with it, but like heard it from him first. Every emotion fully felt is bliss. I had ran from my emotions for my entire life, and I was always an ass hair trigger away from being like pissed off about something. Like I was so quick to anger, right? And that's because
You're a
when I
ginger.
was running, well,
Kidding.
yes, that's exactly, yeah, yeah, yeah.
My mom's a
um,
ginger.
I think
And
I
she
am like
knows, sure.
I think I've become one of the most chill as hell gingers in the entire world.
Nice.
Like I am a ice chill icy hot
Nice
ginger.
show.
I don't know. Anyways, um, so I ran from my emotions my entire life, and I was always an ass hair away from being pissed off about something. Once I started feeling my emotions, my mindset and enjoyment of life tremendously increased because I stopped running from them. The longer you run from your problems, the longer they get to chase you, right? The more you stand up to your problems, the more they back down. The analogy I like to use is it's like a tiny dog chasing you, right? Trying to attack you. The more you run from it, the more it's going to try to chase you and it's going to bite your ankle every once in a while. When you turn around and you like either stand up to the dog or you kick the dog, it'll run away from you, right? They stop pursuing you. So that's how I look at it. And it's worked for me. I just, whenever I feel something and it's like really weighing on my mind, weighing on my chest, weighing on my whatever, my body, I will sit with it. I will let those thoughts come in and I will journal. Get those thoughts out of my mind on a paper. That's another thing, journaling. I used to think it was so gay to journal. I was like, why the fuck would I ever journal? Journaling is legit. Like
Yes, it is.
it's you can journal whenever you want, and it is the most beneficial whenever you have something stuck on your mind. Because whenever you have it stuck in your mind and you don't allow it to come into your mind and you keep pushing it back, the more it's going to weigh you down, just like I said. And when you let it come in, it's great. When you let it out onto paper, it's perfect, in my opinion, from my experience, because I've had a lot of problems that were either resolved or that I got to think through from simply writing my thoughts on paper.
Yep.
Mm.
Have y'all heard of soft talk?
I have. I'm not sure what that is though.
It's using soft words whenever you're speaking, right? So like, oh,
Hmm.
maybe kind of might go to that
Yeah.
uh party. It
Oh,
seems really cool.
I
I
hope.
probably will be there. Just really soft words, right?
Yeah.
Um, using that stuff, I've noticed whenever I stopped using that stuff, should I say, I've noticed that my confidence has gone up when I say more stern and strong language, right? Like
Mhm.
instead of saying, I don't think I like that, I don't like that, right? It's it displays more confidence, and I get a lot more respect from it. Instead of saying, oh, I maybe don't really kind of like that. It's
I think that's
yeah.
also good as a man. That's like when I think of a healthy masculine, that's what I think of. Someone who's decisive, confident, and that's like
Mhm.
true healthy masculine
Mhm.
leadership. So,
Yeah, it's definitely the mindset that I've acquired is I would much rather make a stern decision and be wrong than be stuck like
Wavering.
trying to make a decision, indecisive.
mhm.
It's yeah, I'd rather get it done with and move on and deal with whatever happens. The biggest one, all right, and I would appreciate if y'all put this in the beginning, right? Or at least the first part of this, right? This is the thing that I've been preaching for the past couple months. Stop identifying with and or claiming the negative thoughts, the negative feelings, the negative events that happen that change your life, all of that, right? When I said my stroke, my depression, my anxiety, I was identifying with it. I was allowing it to make more changes in my life than I had. I was allowing it to have some kind of control over my life. When I started saying the stroke, the depression, the anxiety, I feel depression, I feel depressed, which is not as good. It's still better than my depression, but I feel anxious, I feel anxiety. When I started saying that, when I started separating myself just from language,
Yep.
I
Mhm.
was giving myself more freedom to make changes in my life and decide who I am. And I have tremendously grown from it. It's
Yep.
amazing. Like
Because how can you
I've
pass something that you're claiming as your own over and over and over again?
exactly. And I've received a lot of pushback. I've received a lot of hate comments and all of that. And it's okay
Really?
because, yeah, well, I'm in a lot of stroke groups on Facebook.
Okay.
And when I say that, or when I ask, like, I believe that as a mindset coach, if I don't challenge people's beliefs at least a little bit, then I'm not doing my job, right? I'm not servicing them as best as I could. And
Mhm.
a lot of people are still in the beginning stages of their mindset journey. And so when they say it's their stroke, I'll be like, okay, can I ask a question? They're like, yeah. Is it really your stroke? And they're like, well, yeah, it's nobody else's. I said, does it feel good to claim it as your stroke? They're like, not really, but I have to. I'm like, why? And then they respond with something. I'm like, okay, can I offer a different perspective? And they're like, yeah. I said, okay. So would you put yourself through that again? And they said, no. I said, okay. And why would you claim it as yours? I said, things that I claim as mine are things that I want to have in my life. My family, my life, my car, you know, my mindsets, all of that shit. I don't claim things that I would not put myself through again or that I don't want in my life. I don't
Right.
identify with those things either, right? So using simple language shifts because we are what we speak, right? We are what we say we are. Just like
Mhm.
Regina, you're a genius. You're not a stupid retard. You're not a fucking retard, okay? You're a genius because you figured it out. We are what we say we are. Words have power, okay? So
Absolutely.
when you stop saying that it's your whatever, right? You take power back into yourself. You are empowering yourself and you're allowing yourself to grow from the events or the mindset. A lot of people say that depression, anxiety, imposter syndrome are mental illnesses. And I was told that as well. This is why I was put on antidepressants. And once I simply stopped believing that it was a mental illness, that's when I was able to like start moving on from it, because this is cliche and it's been said a lot in the wrong context, in my opinion, but it's literally all in our minds, right? Mindsets has, I would say, 90 to 95% of our overall health, right? If we have a shitty mindset, we're gonna have a shitty life, which means we have a shitty health, right? If we have a positive mindset, we have a positive life, we have better health. If we believe that something is a mental illness, then we're gonna subconsciously believe that nothing can be done about it and that we can only take medication to treat it, right? If we
I
believe that
believe
certain
that's why they
things,
give those names. I think that's why there is that.
diagnoses, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, all
I
those
believe,
labels that you get.
yeah, I
Exactly.
believe that's why so many, I've had conversations with my family about people who've went in for a yearly checkup. They felt completely fine. They were diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and the next week they're dead.
Right.
You know, and that's literally mindsets.
Right.
Mm.
I People are going to disagree with me,
Why
and
doctors should
that's
never give, oh, you have this much to live. You are not God.
yeah,
And you have someone that is putting you on a pedestal, and your words
mm-hmm,
have this power. That's why you should never give power to anyone like that. And
mm-hmm,
then they take it in, and that's what happens.
yeah, and I believe that that's why a lot of diagnoses are the way they are because trying to watch what I say because it gets a lot of people more reliant, for lack of a better term,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so if
Oh, yeah.
they feel like nothing else can be done, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I'll just stay on this for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
And if you just don't take this as medical advice, please, for the love of God, okay? It's just worked for me. All right. I changed my mindset around depression, anxiety, and my mental and physical health. And the depression, the anxiety, my mental and physical health. Notice how I claim that because I fucking love my mental and physical health. And I cherish it. Um, that improved tremendously. So it worked for me. Use your free thinking abilities, you know, if you're listening to this. Don't just be like, oh, Captain Orangutan said, or Captain Orangutan's a badass and he says this worked for him. Do what you think would work for you. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
use your
literally
intuition.
exactly
Yep.
like I'm not God. I don't know everything. And it's completely
Right.
fine. And another thing I'd like to say is I see a lot of people get so mad about people that don't agree with them. And I'm just like, why? You know, everybody can believe what they want. I don't care if people agree with me. Actually, I'd prefer people disagree with me so I can get better at explaining my points. You know,
Mm.
I feel like I'm a lot different than a lot
Yeah.
of people on social media. Um, so
Yeah.
back onto
Well, I think
mindset
people
stuff.
don't want
So
their false beliefs systems shattered, so they get scared. It's fearful.
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
and going on to truth versus false type stuff. I look at truth as subjective, right? So if you think of that meme where there's a 6, right, and there's 2 people standing on either side, the
yeah.
person saying 9 is that's true to him. The person saying 6,
Mhm.
that's true to him. So in that
Yeah.
context, truth is subjective. I like to try to find facts as much as possible,
Mhm.
because it leaves less the hell is it subjective? Yeah, subjective
Mhm.
perspective.
Mhm.
I'm a damn rhyme. I'm a rhyme master, subjective perspective. But uh yeah, at least, I like objective facts rather than subjective truths, you know,
Yeah.
because I don't care what I believe, I don't care what anybody else believes. I want to know what is, you know.
Mhm.
Um so anyways, so another mindset hack is everything is temporary, right? This is very good for both when you're in a good situation and a bad situation, right, in life, because it can help you, or it helps me cherish the good times. It helps me endure the bad times so I can get to the good times.
Mhm.
Um, we
Wow,
already
that's
talked
a
about
lot
everything
of
happens for a
tips.
reason.
So hold up.
Yeah.
We don't want to give the whole program away.
Well, I'm not, this isn't the whole program. It's just, yeah.
I'm
Anyways.
like, pause, stop. But
Yeah.
I was actually gonna try to recap. I can't even remember all of them. I know you started with
Yep.
acceptance, sitting in a dark room with your thoughts,
Yep.
journaling, not
Hmm.
identifying as your label, your words.
Nasal
Um,
breathing.
nasal breathing. I know I'm missing a few more, but there was a lot in there. And
Yeah.
I want to add, and you've already said it, and it should be in there, is finding that power within, finding God, source, whatever you call it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, it will be.
Yep.
That's a great
So
tip.
when is your program going to be launched?
So I've been off and on, half-ass working on it since September or October last year because I've been diving all down all these different rabbit holes of like freedom and spirituality and stuff. And I've just been like, ooh, what is that? Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. And
Mhm.
Jack is ending or coming up on toward the end of the program. First he's the first person to go through it. And he's given me some
Cool.
very valuable feedback, and he's a badass dude. And yeah, so I am almost done with it. I'm a couple weeks away, and it'll be done by
Awesome.
today's the 9th. It'll be done by the end of the month, and it'll be launched. Yeah, so,
Perfect.
but like all the mindset stuff, I focus on mindset hacks, and that's not the only thing because if you conquer your mind, yes, if you conquer your mind, you're going to be more free. And if you just conquer your mind, but you don't do anything physically,
Yes.
you're not going to be free either. You got to
Mhm.
be strong both body and mind. You got to be confident both body and mind.
Embodiment.
And exactly. And
And soul.
yes. And soul, yes, soul is a big one. And I think no, I know a lot of people are lacking in soul. They're just living in their bodies and going with there's a lot of human robots or human animals in the world. There's not enough
There's a lot of
human.
NPCs.
Yeah, human robots, yeah, NPC, same thing. I
There's a
didn't
lot of
I don't like
NPCs.
I don't like the term NPC because it's so overused nowadays. Like literally everybody and their mom uses NPC, and I'm just like, it's time for a new
Well,
term.
I think if you go down, we're not going to get too far into rabbit holes, but I think if you go down the rabbit holes of, is this a simulation, etc. Like when I say NPC, I'm talking they're an NPC.
Like,
Like
oh yeah, no,
I do believe this is a simulation, and
so
we
I
could go
think
down
that
that
life
whole
is
rabbit
a
hole.
multiplayer
Here's the
game.
twist I have on that too, though. I feel like for those of us that do have all of our soul in our body, that is
Yeah.
the challenge that we're faced here is that even if they are an NPC, can we still show that person compassion? Can we still
Mm,
be in our heart
yeah.
space with them? Can we still treat them just like anything else? Because that's our biggest test, I feel like, especially with all the information that's coming through right now, where um it would be so easy just to be black and white and make that a division, but it doesn't need to
Yeah.
be, like
Yeah,
NPC or
so
not. Stay in
I
your
I
Yeah.
when you're around these people.
yeah, I've started looking at life as more of a multiplayer game.
Mm,
Mhm.
And the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that any kind of divide that people hate each other over, whether it's religion, color, nationality, spiritual, whatever, it comes from the top down, not from the bottom up.
Yep.
You know, and the more that we, for lack of a better term, idolize the people at the top, the more power they have over us. And once we
hmm
start like thinking for ourselves, the more we see the beauty in everybody. I played college soccer and I met people from all over the motherfucking world. And I can confidently tell you that it doesn't matter what religion, doesn't matter what nationality, doesn't matter what part of the world they're from. If you can communicate in some way, there are good people everywhere. I
hmm
was playing pickup games at one of the local colleges in my college town, the college town that I went to, and people from all over Africa, people from all over the Middle East, people from all over Europe and Asia and all that were there, and we were just playing. We were just having fun, just kicking around and shit. And half the people couldn't speak English, and I don't know any other language. And we were just sitting there vibing. We were just sitting there playing with each other, like fucking
Yeah.
just get a ball on the field and just play. You know, communicate with body language and all of that. You don't.
Vibes.
There are so many people out in the world, and I absolutely hate, and I don't like to use hate very much, but I absolutely hate when people make generalizations. They put every type of person in this one category. Like Oh, fuck all
Yeah.
gingers. They're all stupid or they're all fiery. Well, yeah, I'm fiery. I got fire on my head, you know? Like that was
Mhm.
a very
Yeah,
generalization. Anyways,
I
uh
agree.
everybody it doesn't matter if if these people look the same, they're not the same. Doesn't matter if they're from the same country, they're not the same. You know? Like I talk to people, I've told people that Southern California I feel like is my dream place. Oh, Southern California, you don't want to go out there with all them damn liberals. I'm like, the fuck? Where I want to go, it doesn't even have like those people don't even care about politics, you know? Politics is fake anyways, you know? So it's just
Mhm.
yeah, I just went
Yeah.
on a big rant and I apologize.
No,
So
no
fun.
worries. We go on rants here. So just to kind of wrap up the recorded um part of this conversation, why don't you leave us with one thought, Tristan, and then tell
Mhm.
us where can everybody find you? So
All
what do
right,
you want to leave us with?
so the one thought that I want to leave y'all with is the message that I've been preaching on social media that I was preaching on social media before I got on my self-love um message. Stop identifying with the thing that is holding you back.
Hmm.
Mm.
If you want to live a better life, stop claiming it as yours, stop identifying with it. If you want to truly grow into the person that you or the individual that you are meant to be in this life, separate yourself from it with your words. Because the more you claim it, the more it's going to have a pull on you, the more it's going to have control over your life, which means the less control you have over your life. So separate
Yeah,
yourself.
love it.
Amen. Yep.
And where can people find you and how can they find out about your program?
So I have the most badass name on social media. It's Captain underscore Orangutan, and it's Orangutan. There's no G. Um, Captain underscore Orangutan on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok, I don't get. I think I'm shadow banned. I don't know. Anyways, um, Cap Orangutan on Facebook. I just changed it today, and the orangutanway.com.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
Love
that
it.
website is up or it will be up.
yeah, it's up. It's a work in progress, and it's
Okay.
got a bunch of, like affiliate links and basically like my like summed up version of my story on there.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, it's badass.
Sweet.
Awesome. So if people follow you, they'll hear about your program.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm informing the people more and more as
Mhm.
we do the drop. So
Amazing. Well, we're going to wrap up the recorded version. Thank you for hanging with us tonight, Tristan. It's been a blast. We've
Yeah.
had technical
I
difficulties.
know. We're rolling with it.
hanging up on me while I'm telling you how I got sexy.
Yep.
Yeah, for
Too funny.
sure. And thank you guys for watching Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you're in the Facebook group, hang out for a second. We'll be there in a minute. And please follow us on YouTube, Instagram, join the Facebook group so you can watch live and ask questions. And we will see you on the next episode.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.